So I've been getting tattoos since I was 14. And what I saw was when I walked into a shop, there was no customer service. There was nothing there. And it seemed like they didn't want you there. You know, you walk in, nobody even greets you. Nobody says hi. You go in, you feel like you're wasting their time. I wanted to change that around. And also the tattoo industry is catered to men. But during 2016, I feel like there's a change where the female empowerment and everything was very big. And I wanted to create a shop that was more catered to females, because females are really the ones who make the decision, even for men, right? Every guy tattoo says, I got to call my wife.
Just wanted to say thank you so much for still being here after a couple of seasons and more seasons to come. So make sure you comment, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's continue with the video. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You're now watching Kinetic Outcome, and we are now with Koo.
Mr. Koo.
Online, have a look, YouTube, website, Instagram, everything. He's originally from Canada.
Toronto,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the top tattoo artists in Toronto. And once on the top 10 coolest lists, together with Drake as #1.
Yeah.
And right now, he'll be #1.
In Hong Kong, maybe.
Yeah. So, Koo, I just want to go back to, you mentioned you were born in Canada, was it?
Yeah, I was born in Canada, and I came here when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Because my grandfather he was here the whole time. He wanted my dad and his family to move here, which is me. And then we moved to Hong Kong, and ever since I stayed here till I was 18, and I left to Canada.
Okay. So how was it like growing up in Hong Kong, and at the same time, how did you falling in love with art? Like, was art your favorite subject?
Yeah, so
the first few years?
Art has always been something I did. I'm very creative since I was a kid. Okay. My math and language and everything side of my brain basically doesn't work. I'm all creative only. I have crazy learning disabilities because of that, dyslexic and everything. But since I was a kid, I was put into a decent school because my grandfather was doing pretty well. I went to Canadian International School until they realized I had so much learning disabilities that they couldn't handle me. I was only very, very, very good at art. So every school I went to in Hong Kong, I got the top grade that they ever even given out. Yeah.
So quick question, I'm just wondering, because you mentioned that you're not that good with the other subjects. Mm-hmm. You probably honed your skills with math after you got into business, though. At least plus minus division.
Yeah, I can do some of that stuff, but I try to avoid that as much as I can.
Okay.
Generally, in businesses that I've done and created, I'm just a creative side. I will know the number side, but I generally push that all to my other partner. He's still in Canada. He does he's my number side of my brain.
Okay.
So he manages all finances, everything for me.
So the fact that you started a tattoo shop in Canada, mm-hmm. that was way back in 2016, right?
Yeah, 2016, 15, 16. Ink and water.
Ink and water.
Yeah.
So you, in a way, you expanded it here, or?
No, so Ink and Water, I started 2016 as like a vision to kind of allow the general public to get tattoos, because tattoos were always more focused on bikers and people more hardcore. You know, when you walk in a tattoo shop and they don't greet you, they don't do anything. So as a designer, I thought might as well create a space that people feel welcome. It's bright, it's nice, there's no art in the wall, it's not dark, nice music. So then it was a hit. Well, we were one of the most hated shops because we changed up the industry. And then month after month, more and more shops started becoming like us, because the first day we opened, we had a lineup of 400 people already. And then they're all waiting in a snowstorm for 2 days to get tattoos from us. And that changed up the whole game of how the tattoo industry was. We were doing a lot of charity work. You know, every month every day we'd give back to charity. Every month we'd link with a new charity to give back even more. We'd do events, we'd do everything. And then it was more community building before community building was a big thing in retail and everything. And then now I'm here. No, I'm not expanding here. I've always worked solo as an artist, even when I had Ink and Water. I worked private studio. I never worked at my shops too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we go back to how did you get 400 people to queue up? That's pretty interesting. And did they queue up for
tattoos?
Each and every person wanted a tattoo?
Yeah, everybody wanted a tattoo. Okay. And then we made sure everybody got a tattoo before they left.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And how long did that take for 400 people?
I work very fast. Myself, in like a span of 6 hours, I was able to hit 200-something people, which is crazy amount for most people. But for me, I do a lot of events. I'm probably the most I've worked with most of the biggest brands compared to most tattoo artists. You know, like from car brands, alcohol brands, clothing brands, NBA, everything I've worked with and done collabs with. And that, because my speed and what I do, that allowed me to do a lot of stuff like that.
I'm trying to imagine how you do like a complicated tattoo, but very fast.
It's not complicated. So basically what we do is we create Flash, Flash is a already pre-drawn piece.
Okay.
That piece will be related to whatever event we're doing. So if I'm having an event with Rolex, let's say, the tattoo will be catered to time and what Rolex stands for. And everything is pre-drawn. So I'm not stuck there drawing every single piece. But still, regardless, most artists that was there did 10 to 20 at the same time, not 200 of them. Yeah. And especially at a quality level that I did it in.
All right.
Yeah.
So you were talking about like changing the industry, right? Prior to starting your shop at the time, what were the few things that you thought that you should change that really affected the industry?
So
like the main ones.
So I've been getting tattoos since I was 14. And what I saw was when I walked into a shop, there was no customer service. There was nothing there. And it seemed like they didn't want you there. You know, you walk in, nobody even greets you. Nobody says hi. You go in, you feel like you're wasting their time. I wanted to change that around. And also the tattoo industry is catered to men. But during 2016, I feel like there was a change where the female empowerment, everything was very big. And I wanted to create a shop that was more catered to females, because females are really the ones who make the decision, even for men, right? Every guy tattoo says, I got to call my wife. So if I create a space that's like women enjoy to be in, everybody enjoys being, not just women, that will allow us to have more customers, you know? And my style was very unique at that point. I was doing micro tattoos before micro tattoos was a big thing. I brought that to Canada. You know, I did a lot for that market in Canada where we blew it up, because our shop was mainly catered to that kind of style. Yeah.
I'd like to like go more into like your style. Like, what do you feel makes you unique personally compared to a lot that you've seen?
Yeah. Unique. Now it's not that unique. When I first started, it was very unique, you know, because basically in the tattoo industry is, let's say I'm doing my own style. I train somebody else. They're going to want to learn from me and do my style too, right? So after we had so many apprentices at our shop, a lot of them will take styles and pieces from different artists there, and then they'll expand and grow it, you know, because I don't have their mind. I can't expand it. They will, the way they will do it, but they can take my designs and they'll change it up. And because a lot of people cannot get a piece from me back in the day or afford to, they'll go to another artist with similar pieces as mine to recreate that style. And now it's a pretty widely known style. There's a lot of artists doing that too. You know, I don't claim to be the first one doing it, but everybody has their own unique touch to everything they do. Yeah.
All right. And have you heard of this line, flow state?
Yeah.
So
Maslow.
I feel like I can relate to you in some way, because when I was growing up, I loved to draw.
Yeah.
My favorite subject was art. I only got better in the other subjects after I graduated school. As in, I failed everything, then I passed everything after. Because I realized what I really wanted.
Yeah. What did you want?
Me?
Yeah.
I like business.
Okay.
I like creating.
Is it the money aspect of business or the creation of starting new businesses?
Creating and money.
Okay.
Like for instance, growing up, it started with, I just like art and craft.
Yeah.
Then got into dancing, fell in love with hip hop. Then because of music, I started to want to learn about videography and photography, right? So that's how I kind of like just ended up having a creative team, and it became a freelance team. And at the age of 20, we're closing nice deals in terms of how much we charge.
Yeah.
And he was part of that.
Yeah.
So a lot of things in my life, including my rap crews back then, like everything just fell into place.
Yeah.
And you just kept focusing on the art aspect of things. Like if I didn't do music, I won't fall into my industry now.
Yeah.
Because my last ex-girlfriend was in my show.
Yeah.
And she became my girlfriend.
And what's the industry? What industry? It was.
I'm in insurance now. But prior to that, I was always doing sales.
Okay.
But the fact that I'm doing sales, it's always the creativity of like, how do I open these cases and how do I close this deal, right? So it's the art of, I believe everything is art, even the way you talk, the way you present yourself, your hairstyle, your clothing, like even you, everything's art. The way you created this place is your art, right? So when I had an opportunity to actually work in the insurance business, we're self-employed or we can build an agency and it becomes our business.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's like, okay, whoa, so I can have a market share, build this thing. Let's say it works out the way it should work out. Then we know Kit Lee, right? So Kit is also one of my like longest time friends. I'm inspired by the way he grew. And you can always make friends with people who are creating things. Like he has a few areas that he owns, like library, right? Or House of Culture.
Yeah.
So let's say I get into a position where I can earn more, then I can always call people or we can create more. And when you create more, then the money comes. And the money comes
Or the
in
money
exchange
goes
for the
'cause
value, right?
it costs money to build,
That as well.
right?
So,
Especially in Hong Kong, money to create a project sometimes won't come back, which most times actually doesn't come back. Like
yeah.
80% of businesses here that I see are cool don't make any money. They're actually just breaking even or losing money, right? Or they're just riding on investors' money, paying themselves. Which most people don't see that side of the world in Hong Kong, right? They go,
Yeah.
oh, this restaurant's great, but yeah, it just looks cool. It's just paying the bills, right? Yeah.
I guess it's the high of the journey and the creating part. It's just, will it survive? Is it sustainable?
Yeah.
But I just see art in every form, and money comes if the art is done right, if that makes sense. I mean, for you, it's the tattoo, right?
No, I do everything creative, but I don't think
Yeah.
money comes if the art is done right. Because some of the best and the most creative people are too shy to even talk to people. You know, they can't even go out and put themselves out there. Without somebody who can help them, they can't. Their art is okay. I was always told like it's better to have good marketing than to be the best artist. You know, and I was lucky enough where I had good marketing. You know, I'm more unique as a character than a lot of people, right? And if I was just the best artist in my mother's basement, you will never hear about me. But if I'm a loud, crazy guy out here doing whatever I'm doing already, you'll hear about me no matter what, you know? And that's the case in Hong Kong. I stand out compared to most people, influencers and everything. You know, I don't do the norm of showing fancy products. Instead, I'll show you how shit their shit is, you know? Like, change it up and people will watch what you're doing, or just be genuine to who you are. Yeah.
Okay. I get your part. What I mean by art is everything, like as in the selling, the marketing, all of it. Yeah, but yeah, makes sense. If you can't advertise yourself, you don't know how to talk. That's also hard, right? So, how do we move forward with this? Oh yeah, flow state. Flow state with you. How
Yeah.
did it go throughout the years to opening your shop to now you're in Hong Kong and this? Like, what surprised you along the journey? Because you focused on what you really, in a way, love to do, I guess.
How does that tie into flow state?
Like in my case, I just focused on whatever I felt that I like to do or love to do, including the music. And there were so many doors open for me that I didn't think it would ever happen, but it happened.
Okay, because to me, flow state means the state that you get into while you're doing something you love, like where time flies, you don't realize what's going on.
And that's what I've been chasing with life since I was a little child.
Yeah.
I always want to be in love with the moment,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
day at a time.
You know, when you, as an artist, the second I tattoo, I don't know what's going on around me. I don't hear anything. I don't know what music's going on. I don't know what's going on. And then that to me is flow state, where you're meditating while doing something, right? It's kind of what the Japanese people do, you know, when they're just raking their gardens. That's a flow state where they're just letting their brain flow and do whatever it's doing. And I guess you achieve that through doing something for so long. You know, I can close my eyes and tattoo at this point. But that led me to wanting to grow my business even more, right? Because I wanted to see, I was at a comfortable state of having one store. And then within a year or so, we were like, you know what? We need another store to grow and expand my dream and keep going until we went to about 5 stores in New York. And then I was like, yeah, this is too much. This is actually not what I wanted. I wanted a flow state where my mind is clear and simple. I created the most complex thing where I had a bunch of stores. I had everything I needed and wanted. I was like, I actually just wanted to keep creating. I didn't want to be comfortable. And then that comfort led me to being very sick for many years. So I was in and out the hospital. And then I decided to give everything away, cut everything off, and come to Hong Kong and just be with family and just start fresh.
Yeah, I was actually looking to ask that part as well.
Yeah, I'll go more in depth after, I guess.
Yeah, because you mentioned that you had the life you wanted. You made a couple of investments. You had a house. You had the cars. Anything people could ask for.
Yeah.
How long were you not feeling happy?
Not happy. I guess as a creative, it's so hard to settle down and be happy with what you have because everything I see, I think I see the flaws more than I see the plus side. And it's a very bad mindset that Hong Kong brews too. You know, like you go to a restaurant and people in Hong Kong are like, yeah, this could have been done better. I would have done this. This is great. You know, people always point out the flaws in Hong Kong. And that mindset kind of stuck with me. And as an artist, there's always something I can do better or create bigger and do more of, or why is this person not doing this? And that kind of mindset drew me to being a little more, not sad, but more negative, I guess. And then that kind of brought my health down a lot more than it was. I've been sick for over 15 years already, but I just kind of coasted and kept dealing with it day to day until I realized there's a point where I couldn't deal with it anymore because my health caught up and I was in and out the hospital every day. Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind talking about it, like what was the sickness?
So basically my stomach and diaphragm stopped working for many years. My diaphragm wouldn't close, so food couldn't stay down. So whatever I ate is coming back out no matter what. There's no way of holding it down. You know, my stomach acid was so bad, it was burning my esophagus, all my teeth and everything. And then it got to a point where I wasn't able to breathe well anymore. I couldn't eat, so I didn't eat through the whole COVID time. I was just on water and whatever I can hold down sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, that's complicated.
Yeah, and then I lost all my memory, and then I didn't know what was going on anymore, having panic attacks every day. So I decided to just go on a trip with my cousin to come back here to show him Hong Kong. And then I fell in love with it again. And then just packed up when I went back and came here.
And you mentioned giving up everything, as in you sold everything that you had?
I gave away most of it, actually. Because to me, like, the charitable side of life, to me, is a lot funner than just selling it all and keeping it to myself. I used to just, like, daily would cook for the homeless in Toronto, especially in the wintertime. We'd bring clothes, we'd do everything, you know. I had a bunch of cars, I had properties, so whoever was there by my side when I was very sick deserved a piece of that. So I just kind of gave it all away. And then in a week, I said, I'm going to get rid of everything in my studio, which was a lot of stuff. You know, I had even clothing. I had like boxes and boxes of unopened stuff. I kind of just opened up my space, turned it into like a retail space. And then a lot of vintage stores came in and swept everything out because I had really rare collections of a lot of stuff. Yeah.
And the more you have, the more it just feels you're so attached.
No, I've never been attached to anything.
Really?
Never. Even like, it might be like the more like autistic side of me where I'm like, I have no empathy and stuff like that.
So if you get rid of all of this, it's okay.
I have no problem. My last space,
Right.
I just moved here. I got rid of everything. It's all brand new stuff again. You know, I've zero attachment, especially for me. I find everything, you know, like these chairs are found. Most stuff is found. Here, I bought the chair and the thing, but everything else is either found or hand built. And I don't, to me, if I built it or I enjoyed it, it's good. Somebody else can enjoy it too, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Materialistic attachment to me means nothing. I can chop off my left leg and not have a problem.
That's good for you. I just feel like people get attached, you know? Like,
Yeah.
we get to a certain level in life, but you know how it is in the world, right? Economy's doing well. This kind of industry is doing well. And all of a sudden, economic contraction, like what's happening to the world now.
Yeah.
And then businesses are like cutting jobs. And there's so much changes because of like automating systems. And people who used to have a certain lifestyle are like stressed out just because they already bought into that lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to let go for many.
Yeah.
And that's where all this unnecessary stress comes in, I think.
Yeah. A lot of people, I find, let's say you're working your job, you make a little bit more money and you start spending more money that you actually make. And especially in Hong Kong, you need to look more than what you make. You know, you need the gold watch, you need the suit, but can you actually afford to be wearing all this all the time? Generally, most people cannot afford to drive their car, you know, because they're still living with their parents, but they need to appear a certain way.
And it's 10,000 or more per month to like have a car, man. I've asked so many people.
Yeah, and then a car spot, another $4,000, and then
Yeah.
you know, is that worth keeping up that look? To me, no, I don't. Generally, I realize at a certain point where I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm here to do me. I enjoy living life with very simple, very simple lifestyle. I spend a few $1,000s a month. I don't spend anything more than that. I'm very simple. And to me, it's not about indulging in stuff. To me, life now is about how can I put myself in positions where I grow, which is like if I'm tempted by wanting to buy a watch, that's a temptation in my mind that's not real. I don't need to buy that watch. You know, most people give into it because their minds are so weak that, you know, I need to eat desserts, they'll eat it right away. I train that part of my mind to a point where I don't need to spend anything. I don't need anything. I can live in a box and I'll be happy, you know? And I think that's how you find true happiness, is once you're able to let go of all that materialistic stuff.
So if you find yourself in this clip, that means you're still watching the video. So thank you so much. Make sure you click that subscribe button. And also, when you're interested in videography services, make sure you hit up Couఢ Mendoza. Links and everything is in the description box, including myself, of course. You know I do financial advice. So if you need any help with insurance, retirement, got questions, anything else, just let me know. Feel free to reach out. So thank you so much. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, like from my experience, like my come up 6 years in my industry, I've lost certain things that I wouldn't want to lose. Then I got to a certain level in earning, and I realized today I'm just happy being alone. I go gym, meditate, and the best thing for me is always eating really good food.
What's really good food?
Like whatever restaurant that I figure out that's really good.
Yeah.
And you're just there alone, you're eating, and you're like, oh, I'm so thankful.
Yeah, I gave up on food. I gave up on food. I used to have like the highest standard. I used to go only Michelin star stuff and eat super fancy.
Okay.
And then after I got sick and I couldn't eat for a long time, I was like, food is just energy. If I get food, I get food. If I don't get food for 2-3 days, I'm fine. I have no problem not eating for 2-3 days. And that's my kind of mindset in life now. Just how do I live simple? So if anything happens or if anything's wrong, I have no problem, because that's the life I live already. You know, like coming here with nothing but a backpack and enough for a year, I was like, I'm good. I need nothing. I need my 2 hands and I'll be able to survive. And that's what's been happening here.
Yeah, to get to the main point, I was trying to find reason in what I do, and I found it by just helping the people in my team. Because when they grow, they're happy, then I'm happy. It's so different now, because when you're younger or you know less, you're always looking for that.
You talking about grow as in mindset or growing as in finance wise?
I'm talking personally.
Personally, yeah.
Like, yeah, I earn if people grow with me because it's business. But years ago, it was more on just me. I want this, I want that. That's what I want in life.
Yeah.
You know? But now
it's boring
like,
at the top by yourself. Man.
Now it's like, I want something meaningful.
Of course.
And that's different, you know? And
yeah.
I don't know. Some people film when they give to the poor, for example.
Of course, yeah. It's more for show. Yeah.
Yeah, but where I live, there's a lot that I see in the street, right?
Yeah.
And the same people that I see, even if I just give them $20 or $50, they're like, "Oh, thank you so much."
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I feel better.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need to film that, but
yeah. Sometimes I avoid giving cash because
yeah,
especially in Canada, you give them cash, that's going straight to the drug addiction, right?
Oh, here's different.
Yeah.
I never seen any so far.
You never seen anybody on drugs here?
I mean, like where I give, usually they just need it for food because they're there daily. They don't, you'll see in their face that
I get
like,
it. Yeah,
crack, right? So, but I don't give too much. Just 10, 20.
Yeah.
Something to eat.
I find most people just want time. They want somebody there for them. They want that care because, like you said, the most important thing money can't buy is community and somebody there, right?
You can't buy trust, respect, love, a wife.
Yeah.
Or one
you can buy that
give you
from
your
Russia.
child, though. Yeah. So, with your experience doing this long enough, have you been working with a lot of brands so far? Because you mentioned about sponsorships, right? Like,
I do work. Yeah, I do work with a lot of brands because to me, I think I only work with brands that I love and I wear and I will work with. Well, like I will. How do I say? I'd like to represent. You know, and especially with clothing, I love fashion a lot. I guess a lot of people see me as a guy with like super street fashion kind of guy in Hong Kong. But most of the brands I wear are brands I've never heard. You know, they're like local artists or local designers and stuff like that. And that's what I like to push is just cool, unique individuals who are doing unique stuff who just need help in pushing their brands. Like this watch brand is great. You know, natural stone, dial, and it's blowing up now, but before it was not that crazy, but I love to wear these kind of things just to showcase what people can do and create. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, so your plans here though, like since you moved, do you
Plans in Hong
want
Kong
to
is
just
just
have one tattoo shop and flow with it and
no,
see how
I
it
don't have any tattoo shops.
unfolds?
This is just my own private studio. I do.
Okay,
So
private studio.
I'm not looking to open a tattoo shop. I don't want to have anybody working for me, with me, or anything like that.
Mm.
I work alone. I've always have worked alone, even with my other shops. I like to do everything. I would like to do more TV stuff and more film stuff, because that's where I left off in Canada. I was gonna do a lot more film stuff. And then I'd like to do more tattoos here too. In Hong Kong, it's not really a good market here. Clients aren't really the best. They don't understand art too much. But I'd still like to push that. It's a good money maker. It allows me to do what I want to do. I can create more fun content. The more I work, the more content I can create. The less things I do, the less content I can create. Yeah.
True. I understand that part.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So growing up, who do you look up to most? Could be more than one.
Honest question, I don't follow media at all, so I don't really have anybody I really look up to too much.
Okay.
I didn't also grow up with my parents, so then there's always just
I didn't
me and
know
my
that
friends.
part.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with my parents. Like, my aunt raised me, so she was great. She took care of me, but at the end of the day, I didn't have anybody to look up to. It was just me and my homies hanging around all day, doing stupid shit, getting arrested. Yeah.
I didn't know that part either.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't grow up with the best childhood here. Like, I was stuck with the wrong group of friends. We were always fighting and doing stuff. The Hong Kong lifestyle if you're in the wrong crew of people. And then I realized when I left Hong Kong that it wasn't me. It was the people around me who was influencing me to do that kind of stuff. And then when I went to Canada, I was like, straight edge. I quit everything. Still don't drink till this day. Don't do anything else. So
You never drank alcohol?
quit everything since I was 18. I drank too much back in the day.
Wow.
Partied too much, yeah. Because my stomach was also damaged already. I can't drink anymore. I can't do anything. Yeah.
That is hard to give up, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah. In my case, like, I've been trying to improve in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And I've cut so many bad habits. And I'll be upfront honest. The toughest that you can cut off is alcohol. And alcohol, when you're in the influence, it leads to other things.
Yeah.
And I think the
Other things.
toughest, super toughest and carnal for a lot of people is lust.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are people that are on monk mode, right? I tried 9 months, longest.
Yeah.
And right now I'm on 9 weeks.
I think alcohol is actually easy to quit.
Okay.
Because you're not addicted to the alcohol. You're addicted to the going out, the social aspect, and all that kind of stuff, right? Especially you as a sports person, you do get that in the daytime if you're doing like run clubs and the social side. If you can get your lust through that instead of drinking and partying, I think you'll be doing that more than drinking, right? Yeah.
And,
it's just a redirection and stuff of how you change and tell yourself in a mindset,
I did go out a couple of times sober while everyone was drinking.
I do it every night.
I always order just
soda water.
lime soda.
Yeah.
And the bartenders would laugh, but I'm like, hey, I'm high anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Without-
on life.
On life.
Yeah.
On life, like
Yeah.
just the music
Yeah.
and fitness. So
Yeah.
yeah, at some point I need to cut down.
I've had that problem too since I've been here. Every time you go to a new bar, they're like, you don't drink? What's wrong? Are you gay or something? To me, that's very weird. Anywhere else in North America, if they even offered me a drink after me telling them I don't drink, I can sue them if I drank. Because if anything happens to me after and they were want to push it on me, that's their fault, right? But in Hong Kong, it's like, it's weird to not drink. But now, since I go out so much, everywhere I go and everyone I'm with, they know I don't drink. And they're very happy. Nobody pushes me to drink. But once you establish that, everybody, I guess if you're strong enough, or if you're weak, let's say, and then you go, I'm not drinking, and they see you drinking, but you're a little bitch. You're going to drink anyways. I'm going to push you. And that's most of the time, right? That's why it's hard to quit. But if you go, no, I'm not drinking, and they go drink, you're like, no, fuck you. What are you going to do? They're like, my bad, right? It just takes that stand for yourself to say, hey, I'm done this. Yeah. Because, you work out. Why would you?
I do have that. Like
Yeah.
when I take breaks, no matter what they say, I stick to it.
Yeah.
But I only did 17 weeks
Yeah.
longest. I want to try like 6 months.
Yeah,
I
do
think
it.
it's like
I think
slow.
you can do it. Yeah. It's just, how do you hold yourself accountable on this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Next question is anything you're excited about personally that's upcoming in the next few months?
Yeah, I'm trying to create some projects in Thailand. I think Bangkok
Okay.
is the next spot I want to do some projects in, not tattoo related. It's more on the F&B side. I've always been interested in F&B, cooking and food stuff. I work with a lot of big chefs. And yeah, I want to do something with Alan and Kittendom basically, because I know they have some stuff here going on already. And that's what we're cooking up right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're inspiring, regardless.
Yeah, I just don't think Hong Kong
Shoutouts.
has the acceptance of creativity compared to anywhere else.
And the cost here is too crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
like-
yeah.
I was in Vietnam, Da Nang,
Oh, my favorite place.
and I asked one of the ladies that I met, hey, 16,000 average for a nice, okay house in Hong Kong for rent monthly.
That's
How
a
long
year.
would I be able to live here?
year.
They're like, 1 year. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's a year.
wow. So I'm paying that times 12 months. I can live in
Only for
Vietnam
rent.
for 12
Only
years.
for rent. You're not including anything else.
Yeah.
And 16,000 here gets you a shoebox or a bed space.
2 bedrooms.
Where do you live in 2-bedroom, 16,000?
Location.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
one more problem in Hong Kong. They did it on purpose. The new sexy buildings with all the facilities.
Yeah.
They just shrank the rooms.
Of course, a 2-bedroom is 2
The
bed
single
spaces.
room is
Yeah.
a single bed.
Yeah.
So, because I like to choose the old buildings.
Yeah, of course. Bigger space, bigger
Huge
bathroom.
rooms.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
Vietnam's my dream. That's where I want to retire.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
It was so chill.
Mhm.
Like I wish cameraman was there. Like we were just at the seaside, we're at the bar.
Yeah. Philippines
Everyone's
is great
just
too.
chill.
Philippines is great too. But the sir mom, let me sell you something. I can't be sold and conned everywhere I
I
go.
prefer
you know?
islands. Philippines, the islands, the way they cook, the juice is real juice.
I've been to Boracay, and then what I couldn't deal with was if I go on a cab, my price is different from your price.
Just go with me.
But that's the problem, right? I don't want to need to be conned everywhere I go. I just want to be treated like a regular person, and that's it. But it's so hard in a country where there's poverty. You know, they're always trying to con your money. Yeah, because in my mindset, I'm always broke. That's how I like to live. No matter how much money you can give me millions, I'm not changing anything. I'm not buying any fancy car. I'm still living the same life I'm living. Yeah.
Okay. And before we go towards the end, do you have a question or two for me?
Why are you always in fancy suits?
It's my job.
To wear suits?
It's more like just the industry and the way you present yourself, I guess. And also, prior to being in this industry, I always had a dream of having a wardrobe of like 5 to 10 suits, and I just swap them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like in my mind already. Like it's a character. Like probably if I left my industry, I would still wear suits.
Yeah, because I think it's in your character more in your industry. You blame it on your industry, but you just love the suit side more.
The industry helped me manifest it more.
Is it because it portrays a certain image for you, like wealth or success more than anything?
It's part of the game. Like I met a lady who handles high net worth clients. So she told me the difference with handling high net worth.
Because I handle very high net worth clients too.
And the super high net worth ones are the ones that would prefer someone not too fancy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it depends on like who I'm working with. And I have met people that are okay or good in their positions in life, but normally they're already working with somebody.
Yeah.
And in my case, it's like the branding, the image, and that's why I have like in a way, 2 images, right? I got the rapper side.
Yeah. Because I remember you with the burgundy suit when I first saw you. I was like, God damn, who's this dapper motherfucker?
I came from work.
Yeah, I was like, who's this dapper motherfucker dressed like this?
Let's say I'm not working today, I'm going to be like casual, probably wear a chain or something.
Yeah.
So I
you
have
got 2 characters
both
in life.
sides.
Yeah,
and I like both sides because it's like, man, if I switch to this, people talk to me differently. If I switch to the hip hop side, people talk to me differently.
Oh, for sure. If I walk into a store, there's no service. There's only cops pulling me out of that store, you know?
Yeah, like the funniest thing about this, right? It's like part of the game is part of the image.
You know? Yeah.
And you can literally just walk in a street full of restaurants and bars. Immediately they just approach you like, sir, ma'am, come in.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're wearing like tank top and shorts, even though you got millions in your bank, they won't approach you.
Of course, of course, of course.
So that's the funny thing about the world's perspective.
Yeah, I like to be low key, so I'm always like, don't bother me, don't talk to me. But everywhere else, yeah, I guess a lot of people like that attention.
Yeah, but who knows? Like at some point, maybe I transition in life. Maybe I'm no longer in my industry, and I get to a point where, let's say, I'm blessed and I get to the wealthy state.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just be wearing a tank top.
What's wealthy to you? I guess this is more a business thing, right? What's wealthy to you mean? Is it enough to cover your day to day? What makes you happy? Because wealthy in Da Nang is 4,000 American to 10,000 American a year. But here's
where you are, and also who you're with, and your values, right? If you dig deep down, back then my values would be different. But now what matters to me most is the core circle, and what kind of people are around me. Who are they?
Yeah. So if you're making millions, they're making millions.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Like, because if they're doing well, then I can learn from them. And I always tell this to my team, like, guys, are you the smartest one in your circle?
Yeah.
Do you always want to be the best one in your circle?
Who's the head of your team?
There's lots of heads. But in terms of just the team that are like multilingual, like that's us. Right?
Yeah.
I always tell them I love to be in a room where I barely know much. And they're better, they're smarter, they make way more.
Always learning.
So I'm like, yo, I'm inspired. I'd rather feel that way. I don't want to be in a room where I'm the best.
Of course. Yeah. You can never learn that way, right?
Yeah. So to conclude, like for me, I value, like, let's say my dad's gone, right? My mom is not that bad, but she had some mental issues.
Yeah.
Not too bad. But I go home, I work, it's empty. So what do I value? I want to have my own family and extend my bloodline, right? So what I can't buy with money is I can't buy. You mentioned you can, but yeah, I can't buy true
in Hong Kong.
Let's say I can't buy true love.
Well, true love can be kind of tainted with money.
And I can't buy a child.
Yeah.
Or 2 children or 3 or 4. I don't know.
You can't surrogates,
but adopt you can. But
I know a few friends with like full surrogate children, full family.
Yeah. So in my case, it's just like, hey, it's just me now. So how am I gonna extend this? It makes more meaning to life where you're working and you're fighting for some people, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, maybe you got your own gang of like, well, not gang, but like actual business partners, and you're expanding business, but at the same time, you're providing value to others, and it's doing well. Then you also hire people to work in those businesses, and you're helping those people because money has to spread, right? So what I see is just like what Kit has been doing. It's a business economy, it's a community, and people go around. So what can we do to keep building and earning at the same time, but it's not because we want money?
What's your next project that you are trying to grow and create? Like you said, art, right? You like to create and grow businesses. What's the business that you're doing, or an idea that you have now that you want to push?
For now, the insurance thing, I want to be Hong Kong's first district director.
Okay.
Like, as in the expat side, right? It's been over 100 years here. There's never been any.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's fully gonna happen, but so far I'm there. I'm 2 ranks away.
Okay.
Although when I get there, the idea was always, hey, now I got like 100, 200, 300, 400 people. So I got a machine running here.
Yeah.
But hey guys, let's say maybe Kit or Alan or you. Hey, I open up this coffee shop. We have like actually we're gonna have 2 locations. Bring your clients there and tell them we own it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, now I got this economy, and then they'll bring an economy there.
Yeah.
So it's just, how do I like use money but to further create more? And the hardest thing is getting to that position where you can actually do that.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't need money. You just need network
as well.
Right? Like if you got, let's say if you got a few hundred people under your belt that will believe in you and do whatever you tell them to do. You don't need money to open a business. You just need people to believe in it. Yeah. And then they'll do it with you, right? Yeah, that as well. So I want to get to that, and it will take time to transition. And at the same time, like, the creative part that opened a lot of doors for me, honestly, always was music. So I'm finishing my album this year and launching it June 14th. Okay. Which is a few days after my birthday. Nice. We'll hold you accountable for that.
It's with Kit.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So
he's producing?
He said, no, like, his location. So we're going to do it at a library.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the pressure. I'm saying it out now. And this has to launch before
June. It has to.
Yeah. So that's the plan. And next month, sort all the songs out, get it prepared, and then launch it online and put the launch date online. Then we got one music video ready already.
Awesome.
And then we're working on another one that will launch after maybe a month or two or free after the actual launch. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how it'll all work out, but how it worked out for me was I never knew how. I just wanted to, so let's do it. And figure it out along the way.
And what are you doing to push this album of yours other than Library right now? Like once it's out, are you trying to get signed or what are you trying to do?
Oh, back then, actually, long story short, I wanted to be like world famous. It was just rap. It was super aggressive. Like I'm gonna be big.
Yeah.
But
it
changed in time.
Do you rap about your life or like a perceived life that you want people to see?
Real
life? Yeah.
I always kept it real.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Talking about insurance right now, or what are you talking?
It did help me with lyrics.
Yeah.
I have one song where it talked about like what is law enforcement without a black market?
Yeah.
Playing in a game only the smart will demarket. Inflated prices everywhere. They don't care about you. Government officials promise what they never will do.
Yeah. That's cool.
Right?
That's cool.
So it helped me a lot. Like why I love the fact that I have my insurance journey is because you got to study about the world, how money works, and you start to open your eyes like, oh my God, like this doesn't make sense. But then you learn about the money side and the banks and just the whole system, and you're like, there's a lot of like loopholes and things are broken here. Then now you go back to the music.
Yeah.
And then everything correlates.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize, okay, that's when I was like, okay, you know what? I don't want to be world famous anymore, but if there's a chance where the music still takes me to places, great. But it's no longer the goal because at the same time, you're kind of like selling your soul. If you want to be famous, you got to make sure you rap about certain topics, especially if you're signed. Because the radio stations that they pay to advertise you will not play your music if it's
of course,
not
yeah. Unless you just go
so
straight
complicated,
underground,
man.
yeah.
And then when you get to that certain mind state level, that deep, now you start like hanging out with the usual friends that you used to hang out with, and they don't get you. You're like, okay, I need a new batch of friends.
Yeah.
It's hard, and even dating is not that easy when you're that in deep, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like pessimist about the world, but it's like they just don't get it when you say terms like, I think the world system is broken, but you're not necessarily
it's always
saying,
been broken. When has it ever been not broken?
Yeah, I know. So you're not necessarily saying like I'm pessimistic and I hate everything, but a lot of people don't want to see it that way.
Yeah.
you know?
Of course.
But
Everybody lives in their bubble.
Like, shit.
Yeah. Once you see it, you see life is a lot easier, you know?
Yeah, it's a whole complicated thing that we created that got us caught in this game where we actually don't need any of it, and we can literally have a piece of land and just plant so much crops and banana trees.
Do you know how to plant crops and banana trees?
I don't know, but let's just say we have all of it, and you have chickens that lay free eggs, and those eggs could hatch to chicks, and now you have more chickens. Like, life was so simple.
Life was simple, you know?
You know?
Yeah.
And then everything has a price when it's not supposed to have a price.
Yeah, I think when back in the day there was wars, there's a lot of things, and now there's nothing. We create these anxieties in our mind that make it even worse. So we're making up problems now that aren't real problems.
Yeah, and that's why even dating got so complicated in this age.
Yeah, it used to be, why is it not raining? Oh, it's raining. That's the problems in life, right? Now it's everything is a problem, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I guess that answers your question, right?
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
All right, cool. Any more?
No.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again,
interviewing him today,
aka Mr. Koo, and Kinetic Outcome.
Yeah.
Telmo, pleasure having you, man.
Nice having you.
That was a great talk.
Thank you.
Our aim is to provide value, so if you like what you watched, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm also a financial advisor based in Hong Kong, so feel free to check the description box for my details and email or DM. And if ever you need video and photography services, the phenomenal videos you're watching right now are filmed by Edry Mendoza. Lastly, if you love hip-hop music, rap, R&B, singing, whichever that sounds amazing to your ears, because I always do a lot of experiments with it, feel free to drop by my channel at SCF Saint or Saint Crossfade. Appreciate you for being part of this episode and more to come. Till next time.